Are you going off script?
You think there's a script? There is a bullet point list at best. Last week we didn't even have one. Hello, my beautiful deku scrubs. Welcome to the Nintendo Everything Podcast, episode 22. I am your host, Oni Dino. With me, I have a Kokiri kid who's a little taller than the others. It's Galen.
Hey guys, how's it going today?
Did I throw you off with that one?
A little bit, yeah. It's been a weird day for me. I'm I'm on probably my third cup of coffee right now, so
I'm sorry.
You know what? It is what it is. You know, it was a fulfilling day, but just a long day altogether. So
Well, I am also on some coffee as well, despite being in a different time zone than you. So, which of us is crazy? You decide.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, PSA everybody. Twitch Prime is giving out free Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions. So if you're a Twitch Prime member and I have no idea about this, but something about like Amazon Prime as well, you can get some sort of stackable Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So
if you have Amazon Prime, you actually have Twitch Prime. The two are like one and the same. You just have to link your two accounts together. So
Oh, okay, so that's it. Gotcha. Yeah, we have details on our website, so check out our website, and we have like a whole thing about how to do it. I'm just lazy and busy.
And you too will have 3 months of games to play from the retro variety, as well as shoddy matchmaking on all of your Mario Kart games. Actually, Mario Kart's not online, is it?
Get out. Are you serious?
No, I mean, like, it's not reliant on the Nintendo Online. Yeah, because I think the only ones that you need the subscription for is Smash Bros, Splatoon, and I think there was one other.
You know, I thought that it was pretty much all of those games, but then I know that there was a few exceptions. Like, I know Fortnite is an exception, but I think Mario Kart is. I don't know. Clearly, I'm not playing it online. I'm barely playing Smash Bros even. I turned it on last night, and I was like, wow, I am hot garbage at this game. Like, I have not played since January, and as soon as I turned it on, like, because I'm gonna be like hanging out with some friends, and I'm like, oh, maybe they're gonna want to play, and oh man, I'm so bad. I remember back in January I was looking up like some videos and stuff, trying to learn like just how like some of the new mechanics work in Smash Ultimate. Like there's certain areas, whatever, I'm not getting into that, but anyway. I forgot all of it, and then I only remember like, oh hey, I think there was something here that I was learning as I was getting my ass handed to me, and I'm like, you know, maybe I should just sell my Switch.
Well, I remember when we recorded our Let's Play for that one. I'm still like nursing the wounds from that, so I might have a chance now.
No. See, I'm about as good as I was in that video, which is to say not that good at all. It's just that you're also really not good.
I'm really bad.
Hey,
also,
no judgments, no judgments at all. I'm also like of the mediocre variety.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, on both of our sides, there was a bit of lag when we were playing online, so you know what? Maybe we're not as bad as we think we are.
No, that's just you making excuses for you losing every single match. So anyway, speaking of embarrassments, Google Stadia. No, it's not a huge embarrassment. It's not at all. Actually, it's pretty promising in a lot of regards, but also, I don't know. The infrastructure is not there, in my opinion. This is just not the one and not the time yet. But yeah, Google wants to be the one that does it right, as opposed to PS Now and Xbox Online or whatever those things were called. I can't remember their names even. I like, they're that unimportant.
Yeah, well, and I think it's an interesting concept. I like the idea that you can play your game basically on any screen that has an internet connection.
Well, that's because it's a streaming service, though. It's not like it's a controller that plugs into a screen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a box. It's not an anything. It's just a service like Netflix, basically. And they did a fantastic job of hiding what the hell it even was until after the presentation. Like the presentation, if they had said like, oh, this is what I just said, people would be getting out of their seats and walking out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's happening. Has nothing to do with Nintendo or anything, but that happened, an announcement at PAX East just a couple days ago, so I figured we'd throw in a little bit of that just to keep you guys informed on what's happening in the video game industry. Go ahead and check it out, but I don't know, we can talk about this a little bit later. You want to hear us talk about this? Just send us some questions and we'll chit-chat.
Yeah.
So we got a pretty good episode coming up. We have lots of game announcements, even happening live as we record because PAX East is this weekend. And tons of new games are being revealed. I'll check at the end of the podcast to see if there's even some new stuff by that time. We've also got more reports from the Wall Street Journal about 2 new Nintendo Switch models coming out this year. And then also, staff is being recruited for a new Zelda game. We'll break down all the details and yell at each other and give our opinions. Right, Galen?
I'm definitely good at yelling about my opinion.
So let's move on to our adventure log. So, tallest Kokiri kid Galen, you've been playing some Puyo Pop Tetris and Puyo and Tetris.
Yeah, a lot of Tetris, actually. I don't know what it is about Tetris 99. Like, I did not give it a lot of credit to begin with, but it's got that masochistic, repetitive tendency that I just have trouble putting down. I need to get to the top rank, and I've gotten to the number 2 spot. I'm so close. It's like right there.
Hey, good job.
But thank you. But after about, I think, almost 2 hours of playing it, it's like, I need a break. I need to not be facing against 98 other people. Let's go back to something a little bit simpler, a little bit more traditional, and a little bit more kooky. So I've been playing Puyo Pop and Tetris. For those of you who don't know, Puyo Pop it's a puzzle game that's very similar to like Yoshi's Cookie or Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
What? That is such an obscure reference.
More obscure than Puyo Pop?
I don't know. Maybe it's just because of me having the Japan background, but Puyo Pop is like forefront of knowledge for me.
That's fair. I'm speaking more towards the American audience who might not have heard of Puyo Pop before.
I've never heard, and I'm American, I've never heard of Dr. Robotnik's Bean Festival.
Well, that's because you didn't have a Sega when you were a kid. Dun dun.
What? Terminator music right there? What was that?
A little bit.
Dun 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 dun.
But yeah, no, Puyo Pop is for those who don't know, it is a puzzle game where you have colored blobs that fall down in a very Tetris-like style, and you have to line up 4 of the same color connecting blob. And when they do, they vanish, and everything in that row drops down. And the idea is that you can stack them in such a way with different color combinations that you can go group of 4 into another group of 4 into another group of 4 and get this long string of flashy combos. And it's an interesting contrast between the two, because in the game you can actually play, one person is playing Tetris while the other person is playing Puyo Pop, or both of you are playing Puyo Pop, or both of you are playing Tetris.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, and when I actually first got my Switch, I downloaded the demo, because I think it's been like a launch title since the Switch came out. I played that demo to death. I'm so glad it didn't have a play count on it. And eventually I saw it on sale last year, finally picked it up, and apparently it's got a story mode? Who knew? I don't know how you can have a story mode with Tetris, but yeah. No, it's a lot of fun, and again, it's a nice little reprieve. It's not nearly as high intensity as Tetris 99, considering you've only got one other person that you're going up against. So it's nice.
Well, that's good. That sounds like an anxiously relaxing time for you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not relaxing. I'm just taking it down a step.
Sounds healthy.
Yeah, that pretty much describes my life right now. Oni, what have you been playing?
So I've been doing the opposite of anxious puzzle gameplay. I have been doing a little bit more of the diving into the mystery dungeons of the Chocobos, because he is my buddy and we are every. Tried to fit every word in there.
Kupo.
Oh man, Dungeon Hero X is great. Okay, so been playing that game a little bit more. It's so cute. Wow, have I forgotten like everything about that game though. Things keep happening and I'm like, when did this happen? Like, how did I forget all of it, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely love that game when it was originally on the Wii. That game is so full of charm. I love it.
It is super charming. The human characters are kind of weird where it's like, I don't know. Okay, so the town, people are forgetting their memories and there's this bell that's ringing that's making them forget. And there's a flying green-haired baby that's going into their minds, and you as Chocobo have to go into the other people's minds to make them remember what's going on.
Sounds about right for a Final Fantasy game, but go on.
It's very strange though. It's strange, but everybody's acting like it isn't strange. But there is like a tiny layer of awareness of it being weird, and it feels kind of like Twin Peaks in a couple of regards. Maybe that's just because I watched Twin Peaks again like last year. But I mean, you're in this one main town and you're doing all these things and you're meeting these characters constantly, and you're getting involved in like pretty much everybody's life. So that's what reminds me of Twin Peaks. It also, like in a video game terms, reminds me a bit of like Mega Man Legends. Just
Gotcha,
on that
gotcha.
town aspect and how it makes you feel.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. Something that I am so happy that I forgot, because it feels like I am re-experiencing this for the first time. Wait, no, that's a bad sentence. Anyway.
No, I think it worked.
Re-experiencing for the first time? Anyway, something I'm glad I forgot. They have animated all of these environmental interactions as your main character Chocobo that they've included just because they're cute. There's like no point to doing any of them except for one that I can think of. But as Chocobo, like, you hop into the water in this little pond and he's kicking his little feet, and then he gets out and he shakes the water off of himself and is shaking his little booty. And then there's another one, you're sipping tea at a cafe, and then he goes over to the playground and he's going down a slide and he's so happy, and then he plays on a seesaw with a bad guy Chocobo, and then they're going up and down and up and down. It's so cute. Just sometimes, like, I'm running around town, I'm like, okay, I gotta go talk to this person and gotta go to the item shop. Oh, but that playground's over there. I know I already swung on the swing. I know I already swung on the swing. I already did swing verb on the swing earlier. But, you know what? It's right there. Chocobo's been working hard. He deserves a gift. So he can swing a little more. Beneath the milky twilight.
Honestly, you had me back when you were saying that this was a reinvigorating experience and it was like playing it for the first time, and now I'm just thinking of like a virgin, just with like Chocobo lyrics instead.
Wark for the very first time.
You've got Gessel Greens on your mind.
Hold on, there are jokes here.
There are a lot of jokes here,
but they're gone now.
Sliding slinger.
So let's talk about some bigger news that came out earlier in the week. Actually, this is more of rumors territory. The Wall Street Journal reports, once again, that more Switch models are coming this year. This is a continuous rumor that's been getting a bit more substantiated as the time goes on. Originally, this was introduced like, I don't know, maybe like 8-9 months ago. Am I going to count now again, like the last couple of episodes? I don't know if it was like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 episodes ago. Anyway, actually, the guy at Wall Street Journal is Takashi Mochizuki. He cites that there will be 2 new models that will target 2 different audiences. One model will target, quote, avid gamers, end quote, offering enhanced features. However, the new machine is not believed to be as, and here's the magic word that everybody loves to talk about, powerful as PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And that's according to those who have reportedly had access to the prototype of the console, such as parts suppliers and software developers. Then there will be a cheaper, more, quote, casual friendly, end quote, system. And internally it is being viewed as a successor to the 3DS. Now, Mochizuki also states that those who have seen these 2 models have commented on their appearance, stating that, quote, they're different from the original and you'd be surprised, end quote. So that's the information there. What do you think about this?
I'm very interested to hear what they have to say about the more casual version. I'm trying to figure out when they're talking about the different models that they're coming out with. Are we going to be seeing some with hardware differences, or are they just going to be, hey, this is one that comes with a bigger screen or something like that?
Yeah.
And also the comment about, hey, they look very different than what you were expecting. That has me wanting to start rolling up the tinfoil and making a little cone shape to put onto my head. I'm starting to think of, like, what could you add to the Switch to make it different than what it currently is?
Yeah, that statement in particular, it's different than you'd be surprised, like, check it out. It sounds like so frickin' like YouTube content bullshit stuff. Sounds so dumb.
I would imagine that Nintendo is really going to focus on one of the big aspects of the Switch, which is its portability, and kind of change up the market for what is your preferred style. Do you prefer to play at home, or do you prefer to play on the go? I imagine that on the go version having maybe a little bit less powerful of a screen, but it's going to have a longer battery life because you can actually carry it around. Maybe it has a flip cover that goes over it kind of and can close in like a clamshell style, and then completely opens up to allow for a stand for you to be able to place somewhere, and you have a more stable stand to it. That's my like tinfoil hat moment. I'm trying to think of, if these claims are true and it will be looking different than what we are expecting, what would make it look different? And I think that would be something that would make it look different. But again, that's just me speculating. On the other side of that coin, I imagine them really kind of beefing up and creating a more powerful version of the Switch that, while you could still take it around with you, it is still made primarily with think of all like the hardware improvements that you would find in the dock that you would put into it, built into the console itself.
But the dock doesn't give it any... What are you talking about?
If they're talking about one that's more powerful for the more quote-unquote hardcore gamer, or whatever terminology they actually use. When you plug the console into the dock, it does give it some sort of, performance boost.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that the dock is giving it that, it's that when you turn off the screen and you plug it into that, it overclocks the... God, is it the GPU or the CPU? I don't know, I'm not super good at the terms. But, I mean, there's nothing in the actual dock itself.
But I'm just saying, like, they're putting something into the Switch that would be able to achieve those overclocked processes without the need of the dock to kind of, like, alleviate the stress from that. Again, this is all just my speculation, and, like, I'm trying to make sense of what all this could possibly mean if they are actually coming out with two different models.
Yeah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, if this is true, it's not a big surprise. The past couple generations of consoles, nearly every successful piece of hardware, so not the Wii U, has gotten some sort of hardware revision. And so it's not surprising at all. I would think actually that something like this would happen more closely to like 2020, but I guess the end of 2019 would also not be necessarily out of the realm of possibility. And both of these directions makes perfect sense. I wonder if they're going to try and phase out the original model of the Switch then. I don't know. I mean, we're going to just have to see. I've seen lots of comment speculation. And so I'm over it. I'm over the whole speculation for no point and people getting angry at each other in comments and being like, "You're so stupid. Why would you take this thing?" And oh God, just shut up. Like, yeah. There's, there've been people saying like, take the controller's portability thing off of the console, but then if you do that, then you don't have tabletop mode, which renders a couple of games unplayable in handheld mode. Like, for example, isn't it Mario Party? You can't play that in handheld, but you can play it in tabletop.
Yeah, the controllers that you're playing in Mario Party, you actually play with just a single Joy-Con on its side. There's no way to play it with both of them at the same time.
So I would be really surprised then that they would do something like that. However, that does make sense.
They put a lot of R&D and they put a lot of focus, especially when the Switch first came out. They were talking about like the HD rumble, and they were talking about all the other features and what made the controller so unique. I would be surprised if they took away that kind of portability aspect and that ability to set the system down and play with another person on the go wherever. It would be very surprising to me if they did that. Yeah. Plus, with the motion controls in a lot of games, like, honestly, every time I play Super Mario Odyssey, I actually play it with both of the Joy-Cons instead of like the Pro Controller, because it is so much easier to do the hat moves and the movements with the two controllers versus just the one.
Yeah, actually, that's one of my problems that I have with Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things about the Switch that they could pare back in terms of technology, so that way they could make the overall package cheaper. Like, they could reduce the HD rumble to just regular rumble, reduce the portability of the Joy-Cons to just being like stuck to the system. However, that goes against what the Switch is, right? So
exactly,
like, I can logically think, oh, they can pare all this back so that way they can sell it at, say, $200 and then be like, hey, here's your new cheap system. That way every household has multiple Switch systems or something like that. But it goes against what the Switch is and what it's been heavily marketed as, and it's been successful too, right? So there's not really so many reasons for them to change up what they've done. So we're just really going to have to see what they do. Again, these are all still rumors, so nothing is confirmed. However, it's looking pretty likely.
Yeah, I honestly just don't think that they'll touch the Joy-Cons much for anything when it comes to a revision.
I also don't think they will either.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, Nintendo still has to promote themselves as to other developers who want to make games for their console. And if you have different kind of controllers for different kind of scenarios, I mean, when the Wii came out originally, the fact that you can plug a different type of controller into the bottom of it was huge. I mean, there was so much potential on what you could have done for that, but the only one that was reliable was the nunchuck that went along with it. Nobody wanted to make extra stuff to kind of go with that. And I feel like if Nintendo starts saying, well, you have to be able to play it on this console because the controller has these features, or if it's just going to be a basic game, you can play it for any, like, it's too many boxes that you're starting to check at that point. And that's never been, I feel like Nintendo's learned their lesson previously from that.
Yes, I agree with the latter half of what you were saying, but I don't think that like them having multiple ways to play is something that other developers give a damn about at all. Like, we're seeing a little bit from like indie developers on basic things like HD, rumble, motion controls. Sometimes from bigger third-party developers, they're doing some motion control stuff, but that's about it. They're not doing anything particularly innovative with the control options that they have there. So I think paring back some of those features is not actually out of the realm of possibility. I just think that it goes against what they've been trying to push for the Switch. And also comparing it to the Wii in terms of what was appealing there. In my opinion, that is a very different market, a very different time, and nowadays people are kind of going in a slightly different direction.
Well, and let me give another example. Let's look at the 3DS when they came out with the Circle Pad Pro. There were a couple games that utilized it, but they never relied solely on it because they wanted to make the games as accessible as possible. I mean, it's not a matter of using those features for... Oh, shoot. What is it I want to say here? I think I'm confusing myself a little bit.
You're confusing me.
What I want to say is that if a developer wants to make use of a particular feature, such as like the infrared in the controller, I know they used that for 1-2 Switch when that first came out. Kind of a stretch of an example, but bear with me. You wouldn't be, if they took away that infrared in whatever this new console is, you wouldn't be able to play that in the new version of the console.
Right.
And that's going to kind of detract that innovation that people might want to use, and that makes the Switch kind of feel special.
I mean, you're correct. However, I'm just saying that I think that lots of developers don't give a damn about that. They don't care. However, I do agree with you, like your whole point of like, well, suddenly this, game A and B are not playable, even though there's all these others that are still playable. If you take away, say, IR or the portability of the Joy-Cons, whatever, I totally agree with you. So that's why I would be surprised if they removed those features. That's why it's such an interesting conversation, I suppose, and that's why there's so much heated discussion over it, because it's like, well, what the hell could they do that would reduce the production costs of this, so that way they could lower the price down more than, $20, $50 maybe, more than that, to be like, no, here's your budget console.
Well, and also getting the materials to actually build the console itself. I mean, it's been, 2+ years since, let's say 3, because they've actually had to put everything together within a certain time frame as well.
Yeah, actually over 3.
Yeah, materials have gotten cheaper, especially when it comes to electronics,
Possibly. It depends on where their suppliers are, and it really depends. Like, having worked in the materials industry before, I've seen usually materials costs go up. Old technology is a different situation. Once it gets super old, then nobody is manufacturing that. So then it actually goes way up. So, I mean, it's not as simple as to say oh, okay, well, there's newer stuff out, so the older stuff is cheaper, just like with a phone or whatever. It's a bit more complicated. Sorry, that I feel like I just shot down what you were saying, but I feel bad. I didn't mean that.
It's cool.
Get back in the corner.
Oh.
So anyway, we could go on and on about that forever, spinning our wheels. What we're really just going to have to wait for is a little bit more information, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Does that sound pretty nice?
I will agree with that one. And I felt like for most of that we were both in agreement with the overall topic. We were just fighting on the little nitpicks of it all.
Listen, I was not fighting with you.
Having an intellectual debate
with swords. Why'd I say that like a Canadian? You know how every once in a while you'll hear a strange Canadian, oh, sorry, or something like that. You know what I mean? So what else is up this week? Since the GDC announcements and PAX announcements are going live this whole weekend, we have a slew of games that have been announced for the Nintendo Switch. So many that we can't actually talk about all of them. I'm just going to bring out some of the more prolific and the ones that I personally care about. So you can check out our website for all of the news, all of the games that are being announced.
Yeah.
So Shantae 5 got announced, and it's coming later this year. And all we know about it is that it is, quote, a brand new adventure, end quote. That's it. No, shut up. No more information. That's it.
You know what? I'm okay with that. I mean...
Totally fine.
Yeah. Shantae's games have always had a very distinct style to it. I was a personal fan of The Pirate's Curse.
Yeah,
that I played a little while ago.
Too.
Yeah, I it's like saying a new Mario game is coming out. Like, you don't need much more description on that other than you already have an idea on what you're expecting from the game.
Yeah, it's going to be an action platformer with RPG elements. Cool. I like it. Shantae is a great character design, and that game's got good humor and cute characters, and it's fun. It's fun, fun, fun. If you've never played any Shantae games, play. Do play the game, please. They're good. They're really, really good.
Belly dancing genies that whip her hair back and forth.
Yeah. Take that, 7-year-old Willow Smith. She's probably like 20 now. I just remember being in a club one time, and then they were playing that song and the music video on the screen, and I'm like, this is a tiny baby. This is a tiny baby singing club booty dancing songs right now. This is really strange to me. I'll have another drink, please.
She is too young to be getting jiggy with it.
Oh
No.
Oh my God. Could you sound any more white? Excuse me, I think that she is fronting. She is fronting on getting jiggy with it. Anyway, this is a video game podcast. What is happening? Okay, more games. There's more games coming out. Will Smith is not doing a video game for Nintendo Switch. Sorry. Rumors are not true.
So you're telling me that this is a podcast all about how our podcast flip turned upside down.
And I'd like to take a minute, so just sit right there. I'll tell you all about the games that got announced at PAX East.
What is the show today?
I don't know. What is this show any week, man? I feel like we're crashing and burning. Our listenership is up, but like, I don't know what is going on. Like, consistently we're doing good. We are doing really good, actually. And hey, you know what? Shout out right in the middle of the damn show. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Because, God, every time I'm recording, I feel like an idiot. Oh, also, you know what? Okay, putting everything on hold. You know what I'd love to do? Because, of course, we have to do this show, and we have to sort of curate it for the news and everything like that. I would love to do a chill stream sometime where we just kind of chat about video games as we're doing now, but with way less structure, and where we talk about, okay, so Yoshi came out, right? Yoshi just came out, and let's talk about like the Yoshi amiibo and like the just stupid stuff. It doesn't have to be like the sort of around an hour format, and maybe have a couple of drinks, just a super chill stream.
I'd be down for that.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
That'd be nice. I'd appreciate that.
Or how about drunk history video games? Like, I'd be all about that, you know?
Oh, shit. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Let me tell you about the history of Yoshi. And, like, it'll be stuff that everybody knows for sure, but I don't know, it's just because it's the two of us chatting like idiots.
So Mario was a carpenter, right? And
Hold on now. Save it for the stream, okay? Oh, man, we could be like, oh, no. Okay. Putting it away. Writing it down. Putting it away. Jokes for later. Okay, back to video games. Christ.
Full disclosure, I actually did hear a rumor that the Mario in Donkey Kong is not the Mario that we play in all of the other games. He is actually Mario's father. Hence why that Mario is a carpenter and all the rest of them are plumbers.
Is this a game theory video?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
It sounds exactly like some of that crap. I'm sorry.
It makes
I'm not
so much
into
sense.
game theory at all.
I'm sorry. I really like that theory, though.
I'm so not into that show. I'm like the most not into that show that it's ever been. Anyway.
If it helps at all, it's like early game theory series, like 2 years ago.
When it was actually entertaining? 2 years? No, it has to be like 5 years ago.
The show is like 5 years old total, I think.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, back to video games. Samurai Shodown. Tell me about that.
Well, I don't know about that. Oh my god. Don't embarrass me. You're embarrassing me. Samurai Shodown coming out Q4 2019 for the Nintendo Switch. Apparently this was like pseudo confirmed since last November, according to some commenters on our website. I don't know, I didn't look into it, but now it is definitely totally confirmed, and we got a release window. That's pretty great. I am really excited for that video game, I'll be honest, just because that series has been kind of dead for a while. So it's weird to see it coming back and being pushed to the forefront. I mean, it's going to be at, oh god, not EDC, not GDC. What the hell is the other one? Oh my god. Evo. The other one that has an E in it and then the 3 letters. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. And especially since it's coming, so there's the positive and the negative of it coming a little bit later. I think it comes in July for Xbox and PlayStation and probably PC. So with it coming later to the Switch, it should include some of the DLC characters that are inevitably going to be into the fighting game. So I don't know. We'll see. There's positives to that.
Yeah. I'm interested in the game. I've never been that much of a Samurai Shodown. Like, I've been following the games in the past, like, oh god, what, 20 years, 25 years that's actually been out. But yeah, it looks like a cartoony version of Soul Calibur, and I'm okay with that.
Oh, it's so not that though. It's so not. So I mean, I'm not super boned up on the history of Samurai Shodown by any means, but I played it a bunch in the arcades on the Neo Geo systems, and back then it was, of course, 2D sprites, but it was like tons of blood, tons of gore. Well, not gore, but, you know, lots of blood and killing. And your weapons always did lots of damage, so you could turn things around pretty quickly. And it felt less like a combo fighting video game, as more so it felt like a calculated attack kind of video game. And it seems like they're pushing way further into that direction as well to try and make it stand out from its peers. And I'm all about that.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So also, Wolfenstein Youngblood was officially confirmed for the Switch. This has been teased since E3 2018, but now it's finally confirmed. It's coming out the same time as the other consoles, July 26th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you played any of the Wolfenstein games?
Nah, I'm not super into Wolfenstein. It looks nice, but it's not my thing.
I've heard that the story is actually super engrossing for a first-person shooter.
Yeah. I like historical fiction, so that is what intrigued me about it.
As historically fictitious as you can be with Nazis having robot dogs that like attack things.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, I looked up a little bit on this and found that Panic Button is the studio that is actually developing this, not Machine Games that did the other ones. But Panic Button has actually been doing a lot of the Switch version ports. Like, they handled the original Wolfenstein 2 when that came to the Switch.
Yes, they've done tons and tons of things, and like inside the community of like Switch fans who are paying attention to third-party developers and the people who port games, Panic Button is like god tier Switch developer.
Yeah. Doom, Warframe, Rocket League even.
Yeah.
So
it's honestly what they did with Wolfenstein and Doom, and in particular Warframe. I played that a bit. Those games look and play great, and they have lots of features, especially Warframe has lots of features to like customize what it looks like on your system, and that is so appreciated. I love that. Panic Button doing great work.
Yeah. So I'm more excited about this than it coming from any of the other consoles.
Yeah, like if I ever hear of a third-party game being ported or also made for the Switch, and I know it's being done by Panic Button, I know I can expect quality, and that's fantastic. When your name is synonymous with good quality, like, good job, guys and girls over there. You guys rock.
Well put. I absolutely agree.
Arigato. So we're actually going to be talking about them a second from now. You know what? Just right now. I'm switching up
Let's do that now.
I'm switching up the whole format of the show.
Are you going off script?
You think there's a script? There is a bullet point list at best. Last week we didn't even have one. So, Hob Definitive Edition just got announced for the Nintendo Switch. It's up for pre-order, coming out April 4th. There's a 10% discount if you want to preload, because it's a digital game. This is also being ported over by Panic Button. This is a little bit interesting because this is a like sort of top-down, more cutesy action. Does it have platform? Yeah, it has some platforming elements, but it's like
it's an action puzzle platformer, and it's not exactly from the top down. It's like at like maybe a 45-degree angle.
Oh, okay.
So.
There, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
But I saw this on PlayStation before, and I always thought about buying it, but I was like, maybe it'll come to the Switch, so maybe I'll hold out because just having it portable makes it much more playable for me. And now it got announced, and I'm like, yes! So this game is coming with improved controls and game features, HD Rumble, touchscreen support, and more. And we also got word that Panic Button is working on Torchlight 2, which is by the original developers of Hob. And Panic Button is working on that for consoles, but specific platforms haven't been confirmed. So considering it's Panic Button, it's probably coming to the Switch, but nothing confirmed yet. That game, Torchlight 2, is launching in autumn of this year, and they said that there will be more announcements before then. So, cool. Hopefully it comes to the Switch.
Ah, really cool.
Yeah, I'm getting Hob, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to give that one a try.
Then we got Bulletstorm, Duke of Switch Edition. This was a game that was originally developed by People Can Fly back in 2011, and it was met with total critical acclaim back in 2011. So we're getting an updated remaster of that game. It launches this summer with all the DLC content included.
By Gearbox.
Randy, no!
Can we just take a minute and talk about the Gearbox live stream press conference that they had?
No.
Like, I know the Switch or the Nintendo content was really light on it, but it was so awkward. It was so awkward.
Was it awkward because Randy had to talk about all of his like porn USBs that he leaves at, God, what are those called? Medieval times? What a strange alleged story, isn't it?
He covered it up very nicely by performing a magic trick for 15 minutes that led absolutely nowhere.
Ooh, that's a really good one. That's strong. That's a strong joke. I don't think that we can talk about it because it's kind of NSFW, but if you guys know the Randy Pitchford craziness, there's some really gross magic tricks that he talks about. He's a gross person, it seems like.
The entire conference was just so weird and so slapped together. I mean...
Was it?
Yeah, because I felt like they knew what they wanted, but the guy who put together the conference was drunk or something. Like, I have no idea.
Cheers.
There were so many technical errors. Their big launch about saying, hey, we're coming out with this remastered HD version of Borderlands 2 for a third time that's going to be in 4K, which honestly is pretty cool. They couldn't even play the video there. Their big announcement video for Borderlands 3, the video was really like stuttery and choppy. And technical problems aside, like, I totally understand that. I totally get it. But there's handling it with grace. Then there's the complete opposite. These guys were one step above Michael Bay just walking out of the Samsung conference saying, no, I can't do this. Like, it was that bad.
So I have no idea what you're talking about on a lot of those references, but I would not say that Randy Pitchford or especially Gearbox in the last several years is something that I would associate with grace.
Okay, let me rephrase this and sum this up in a different way.
Ugh.
The entire Gearbox presentation was handled like they handled Aliens Colonial Marines. And the only saving grace was Borderlands 3 at the very end.
Man, Aliens Colonial Marines is a wild story. And then lastly, of the very notable announcements, we have Cyber Shadow. This is the game that Yacht Club Games was teasing last week that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game developed by Mechanical Head Studios and published by Yacht Club Games. Yacht Club Games are the brilliant geniuses behind Shovel Knight, of course. Now, Cyber Shadow is a ninja action game. We have no release date yet that I found, but it looks pretty complete. But then again, I mean, so did so many other things, and, it took forever for those to come out, so whatever. There's a fantastic trailer for it on the Nintendo YouTube, which we also have on our website as well, so do check it out. The game looks really quick and intense, and reminds me a bit of like Spectre Knight style gameplay from Shovel Knight, just a bit.
Mm-hmm. I really like the trailer. Like,
Me too.
when I was watching it played, I got a lot of flashes of like Ninja Gaiden and like, is it Strider?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that the game that I'm thinking about? Yeah, and even The Messenger more recently. Yeah, I mean, this game looks really fun. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I thought of all of those things as well, but visually it reminded me a whole lot of a particular Batman game on the NES, which is a compliment. I can't remember exactly which one it was because there's more than one, but I think...
Was it Batman Returns?
I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It was the good one on NES.
Gotcha.
But anyway, the game looks totally incredible. The devs are doing a great job of taking that like 8-bit aesthetic, but elevating it and still tricking your eyes into thinking that they're working within restrictions, but they're clearly totally not. It's a really delicate balance that requires an artful understanding of what 8-bit aesthetic is, or 16-bit, or whatever the hell, to be able to create it, but still use a whole bunch of effects that were totally not possible before, but still make it work in that aesthetic. It's great. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super pumped.
Then, slightly related to this, we got a live stream from Square Enix with way more details on Dragon Quest XI-S for the Nintendo Switch. You can check out our website for the full lineup of details like new voice actors, tons of quality of life features all across the board, but most importantly that I did want to mention for all of you listeners is that the quests from the 3DS version, in which you visit past worlds from Dragon Quest titles, that will be included in the Nintendo Switch version with some changes. Now, if I recall correctly, they originally used Spot Pass, so it makes sense to make a few changes, but like regardless, whatever, even if it's abridged or something, those quests being included is a great addition.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can add more content to a game, I'm totally happy about that. And you know what? I'm not even going to give them crap for having side quests be one of their big talking points, because I think this is pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's combining content from another version and putting it all together. Like, this is truly the definitive version. It took a damn while for this to come out, but at least it's not just like, hey, it's the same game. It's truly like everything together. And I want to say that this is turning into the best that it could have possibly been, which is great. I'm buying that totally immediately this autumn. And then lastly, we have the big news that just came out a few days ago, where Monolith Soft put out a tweet where they are recruiting staff for a new Zelda game. So they are super promoting that they're recruiting staff specifically for a Zelda game. There's like Zelda graphics all over the place, and the quote on their website says to create new surprises and impressions.
I've always wondered, when companies do this kind of like reach out for new help on a game, I'm wondering how much of it is publicity based and how much of it actually is like a cry for, hey, we're actually needing some people to come in.
I know what you mean, but this one is certainly genuine. It's partly publicity, otherwise they wouldn't have created a pretty graphic and everything, but they're looking for a lot of people. Going down the list, they have like main bullet points, and then underneath those bullet points is like 4 or 5 different positions within that category. So technical artists that they're looking for. Underneath that is like 4 or 5 types of technical artists. Then they have programmers and more types of that. They have planners, designers, management support, and all within those bullet points are even more positions. So they're looking for a big, big team.
Yeah. I don't know. It definitely is interesting. This is the first. I know that it's been teased ever since like the end of 2017 that they're already working and have some ideas on what the next Legend of Zelda game is going to be. But
yeah,
this is the first like reminder of, hey, you know, we're making some progress on this.
Right. It has been teased, and this isn't news that like another Zelda game is going to be coming probably on the Switch. It shouldn't be surprising to people. I think Aonuma himself even said at one point that they're making one already. Big surprise. You know, it's like saying, oh, there's going to be another Avengers movie.
Well, well, and I'm a little curious as to what this means as a whole, because I've been noticing a trend that Nintendo itself has been using Zelda as one of its flagship IPs, even more than Mario. Oh, if you just think about the past couple of big Zelda games that have come out, I mean, we have A Link Between Worlds, Breath of the Wild, we have the new cover of Link's Awakening, which is going to be coming out soon. Over the past couple of years, we've been seeing more expansive and diverse Legend of Zelda games out there, where Mario has always been a little bit more tightened in.
So here's the thing. For me, my understanding is that Mario games almost always sell better than Zelda games. Whether they're spin-offs, whether they're main titles, whatever. They always do. Mario appeals to a different demographic. Like, everybody knows what Mario is. Everybody knows that they can enjoy a Mario game. That's why there's Mario Party and not Zelda Party, you know?
That's very true.
So
I would play a Zelda Party, I'm just saying.
I would too. I would do a Coco race like you wouldn't even believe.
Get on that, Nintendo. You have to go around the board and you have to buy different pieces of the Triforce, and you have to be the one to collect like all three.
That sounds boring.
What? How's that any different than like collecting stars?
Because there's only 3.
Yeah, and you, instead of like trying to collect as many as you can, you have to like challenge the other people on the board, and you have to actually say, okay, do I go for this other piece over here, or do I go after the person who just got a piece? I'm just saying, I can see it work, and I can see it be different than Mario Party.
If there's fighting involved, I think I'm on board for that. Anyway, so Mario, yeah, consistently sells better, also has consistently longer legs in terms of sales post-release.
Mm-hmm.
But Zelda as a franchise has more clout in the respected gaming circles, I want to say. Not that Mario isn't well respected, it's just that Zelda is seen as more of a video game with swords and fairies and a whole bunch of crap, you know?
Yeah, it's got more of a...
There's more people making games like Zelda than there are people making games like Mario, ironically.
Yeah, and I mean this in the literal sense of the word. There is a larger epic sense to Legend of Zelda than there is to Mario. Like,
yeah. It's a fantasy.
Exactly. The word legend is in the title.
Yeah, it's high fantasy.
Exactly.
Western high fantasy. So, I don't know, you said something several minutes ago and I forgot why I started talking about that. Anyway, Monolith Soft, recruiting.
Nice.
I did want to point out, too, that, like, of course, we don't know if this is a 3D Zelda or a 2D Zelda. We can probably safely assume it's a 3D Zelda, but not entirely. The reason I say this is because it's widely known that Monolith Soft helped do some sort of development. They assisted in development of Breath of the Wild. However, in checking their website, they've also helped work on A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS and Skyward Sword in some regard.
Mm-hmm.
The waters are not as shallow as we think with Monolith Soft's assisted development history. They even worked on like Splatoon and a whole bunch of other games too. According to their website, at least. I didn't know this. This is all new.
I'm just thinking about what if they did a 2D Zelda. Like, I'd get behind that, actually.
Yeah, honestly, whatever Monolith Soft, show me what you got. Let's go. Give it to me. I'm buying it. Throw it all at me.
Okie dokie.
So that does it for news. Check out nintendoeverything.com for so much more, way more details, all the comments from our lovely commenters, some crazy comments too. Some crazy stuff be happening this week. Check it all out, nintendoeverything.com. So let's talk about our additional DLC. Galen, what do you have to share with the lovely, lovely listeners this week?
Well, for the card gaming gamers out there, there's probably a better way that I can say that, but I'm not redoing it. My additional DLC this week is the Game Nights. Night as in knight in shining armor, not like nighttime. And that is a show where a group of people get together and play Magic the Gathering, but they do it in a format that is very, what's the best way to, it's very televised, and they kind of slow down and talk about why they're making the plays, and it's very reality show-esque in the way where they kind of like explain what they're doing when they're going through it.
Oh my god, did they not come here to make friends? Did they come here to be number one?
No drama or anything like that, but there are some politics and bargaining that happens in the game, which is very interesting to see how that goes along. No, it's very well animated. They definitely have the passion and take the time to put in some artistic effects into it to make it entertaining, and if you really like Magic, it's really fun to watch and see them play these cards and see it all laid out. And they also, the way that they explain it, they also, if you are not as familiar with the game, but you know the gist of it, you can still follow along with everything. So I really like it. The link that I added on is their latest episode, which actually went live last Friday, and they run a contest where every time they put up a new episode, if you share it on Facebook and Twitter or whatever, you would get entered into a contest to win some free stuff from their Ultra Pro. So it's a lot of fun.
I enjoyed the reality TV show aspect that you mentioned. I would love to see Gordon Ramsay run out there when somebody plays a card that was like kind of dumb, and then have Gordon Ramsay just scream, "It's raw!"
You missed your third mana drop, you worm!
I'm like trying to think of like Gordon Ramsay things I can say. All of them contain the F word.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough one to go with.
Yeah. I mean, like we're allowed a little bit, here and there, but we try and keep it as clean as we can.
I did say poop earlier.
I'm editing that out. So this week I actually got some DLC for you. It is a video on YouTube called A Journey Through Rule of Rose by Ragnaroks. Now, if you are a creepy weirdo like me, and you need human suffering to survive, you probably like creepy games too. And Rule of Rose on the PS2 is a wild one that focuses on psychological torture and horror, not dissimilar to the Silent Hill series, the good ones at least. Now, the author of the video, Ragnaroks, he goes way into all of the themes of the game, and it really, really makes you appreciate what the developers and the writers were trying to do from an artistic point of view. It's an absolutely fascinating watch. It's I think a little over an hour, and it's actually kind of relaxing too. It has like a low melancholic atmosphere the whole way through. It's not, crazy nonsense YouTube people like game theory, which, I like to watch a little bit more chill videos, I think. Regardless of the personality that I put out here, I need to chill sometimes. So highly recommended to all of the freaks like myself. Don't want to say too much about it, but just check it out if you're into human suffering.
I can actually attest that it does keep you warm at night.
It does, yeah. Like a dead body.
What?
I don't know. I'm probably going to edit that out.
I would hope so.
So we're running over time a bit, so we're unfortunately going to have to skip our listener mail segment, which pains my black heart, because I love that segment so much. But if you got an email, do send it to us, please. you can send us an email at nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
That email once more is nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com. I actually enjoyed reading the email last time.
Yeah, maybe I'll have you read the emails in the future.
Yeah.
Give this fantastic voice a bit of a relax, you know? If you have sent us an email and we haven't read it yet, it's probably because you sent it to the wrong email. So make sure you send it to the right email, please. nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
So what's coming up on the site, or what is already out on the site? That would be the Blaster Master 02 review that we put up by one of our newest reviewers. Check that out. I also translated some Rune Factory 4 and 5 interviews with the producer and developer. That should be coming out sometime soon. And another translator of ours also worked on some Yoshi stuff coming out very soon, if it's not out already. These are all exclusive translations that we do for you guys, all you lovelies. Check that out on nintendoeverything.com. We also have our Twitter @nineverything, our YouTube, youtube.com/nineverything. Then I have my personal Twitter @Oni_Dino and my Instagram @Oni__Dino. And then Mr. Galen.
As always, my Twitter is @Mobius087. And if you are one of those guys who actually listen to the podcast because you listen to us ramble and just stumble through every podcast that we go through, you can get a little bit of us on our Let's Play channel, which is the Super Turbo Fighters. That one is on YouTube. Check us out. We'd really appreciate it.
And this is a bit redundant probably because all of the people who get to the end of the podcast are our most dedicated fans, but please do give us a rating on iTunes. The mouth, not the mouth of the word, the word of mouth. Oh, Jesus. Word of mouth is the
mouth of the word.
The word of mouth is the best recommendation that anybody can get when it comes to spreading knowledge or creativity from somebody. I mean, I work as a freelance translator. Referrals are like the highest form of me getting any kind of job. So same thing with the podcast. Referrals are the best. So if you could kindly refer us to anybody you think that might like listening to this horrible schlop that we put out every week. Oh my God. And suddenly I have a little bit of an existential crisis.
Just remember, just think of your pain and suffering and, you'll feel better.
It keeps me warm. And for everything Nintendo,
stay tuned for Nintendo Everything.
Bye-bye.
Later, everyone.